Dear viewers, welcome to Sip and Chat. My name is Atin Sujin, and today with me is Makuei. Makuei is the lady who went online a few days ago and shared her story on video. And she has been trending for some time, and we're here today to tell her story. As you know, Sip and Chat is a platform where we make sure at least people tell their stories, and some of these stories are educative. Some of them can teach us a lot of things, and also, you know, expressing people's opinions is very important. So Yar, you're welcome to Sip and Chat.
Thank you.
So tell us, who is Makuei?
My name is Makuei. I'm a South Sudanese. I grew up in Kenya during the war.
Okay.
I grew up in a place called Eldoret.
Eldoret guys.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. We knew each other. We were a close-knit community.
Yeah.
At that time, so we knew each other so well. I'm here today to elaborate on my story, on what I went viral the other day. I did it under stress, so today I'll try to be a bit calm and
It's okay.
not shed tears, but just speak my story. Yeah.
So, Makuei, when you shared the video, what came to people's mind is the stress you went through, and you mentioned clearly that you've been going through a lot. First of all, it pained you that you were blocked from seeing your kids, and you also briefly tell us about your story of your marriage and how you went to court, and then from there you were blocked from seeing your children, and until one child passed away. It is a very long story. So before you take us to that story, tell us briefly, how did your marriage started? How did you reach to where you are today?
I grew up in Eldoret, as I had said, and I grew up as a South Sudanese girl, specifically a Dinka one. You are brought up in a way that you have to behave yourself, you have to get married in a decent and honorable
marriage.
way. Yes, and that's what exactly happened. So when I was growing up, I don't know, maybe because due to my father's popularity, and he's well respected in the community. So I had a lot of guys actually coming to ask for my hand in marriage, especially from Yeru.
Okay, how many guys?
There were like, I think 5.
The contest was very tight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
out of your to be husband.
Yes, out to be my husband. Out of, and all of those guys.
Were from Europe?
They were all from Yeru.
Okay.
And honestly, I just want to. At that time it didn't make sense to me. I was like, what is all this competition about? But right now, sitting in the position I'm in and in the place that I found myself in, I feel honored that you guys came for me, because you knew how important I am. It gave me certain honor that even if I go through what right now, I know I am. I was honored by my own people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now take us through the story. You were in Eldoret. These 5 men came. Then what happened?
Okay, that time of course, when I was growing up as a teenager, there were so many people coming up to marry me, and most of them, unfortunately, especially those guys from my place, they were from outside at that time. So only Deng Diarding was the one who was within. Okay. And at least he was the first man I ever knew. He was the first boyfriend that I had at that particular time, and even most people who were in Eldoret know that, but still those ones who are in Kapsoya, he's the only guy I ever dated. He's the only guy that, So when he came, when things started happening, he came home officially. And of course, he came home, okay, for us, when somebody comes officially like that, he's received.
Yeah.
So he came, he showed good intentions. He did his marriage genuinely well, as in the way that it should have been done. There was no, in such a good way. So we got married. It was done traditionally by in Bor, but our wedding was done in Nairobi.
Okay.
In All Saints, All Saints Cathedral. Okay. And I remember, many people, if you could remember, I was that bride on a horse.
Okay.
That was actually a special gift from my uncle.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that was interesting.
Yeah, it was very nice. We were walking down the aisle, and I was saying hi to people on the road, and they were taking photos of me.
While you were on the horse?
While I was on the horse. I was not in the car.
Wow.
It was a horse.
That was quite a unique
very
wedding,
unique, very unique.
Okay.
Yeah. So we started marriage life. He enrolled me immediately to university. That was UON.
After the marriage?
After the wedding. After the wedding, I got enrolled in University of Nairobi. I studied there. I enrolled into Bachelor of Arts at that time. Yeah, I started with the diploma. Then I moved on because I had gotten a C plane at my KCP, so I had to start with the diploma. So after that, I started going to school, and we started living. Him. And one thing I admired about him from the word go was the fact that he loves to help people. I saw him as he was so responsible, taking care of his siblings, putting them through school. You see, not many people were doing that at that time. You know, that determination, that focus at his age, to be honest, made him look like an angel to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and he did the same thing to me. Like when he took me in, he immediately enrolled me to school, and I lived with his siblings. He was by then he was working in Somalia with UN Habitat. So we came. I continued. Then immediately I got pregnant with my first child. Okay, I graduated, and in the process I had like 4 kids, all my kids. You know, all my kids were like do re mi fa so.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like,
so as you were studying, you were also producing.
Yes, I was. Yes,
you're killing two birds with one stone.
I used to go to my classes. I come back, and the next minute I'm in the labor ward. And I come back. I go back to class. I do my exams. That was my life. Because you know I felt encouraged. This was somebody who was offering to educate me, and he told me clearly, for you to be in school, you have to continue producing. I did that. You know, I gave him what he wanted. I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
So we continued. So as you know, as we started family, of course, you see, marriage is never an easy thing.
Yeah.
But you see, you try to work on it. So the first issues that I had outright was the fact that I married a breadwinner. So I immediately faced serious competition from the siblings. We had serious friction because of resources. And I started slowly coming to realize, then was this type of person. When things are wrong, he will blame it on someone else. So when resources are few, he will blame it on me and make me look like I was a responsible woman. But when he comes to me, he will start telling me, right now I'm working on 1, 2, 3 things. So we have to work on a tight budget. So I accepted, and I could see clearly that there's some programs that he was really running. But how he went and told the other siblings, different story, that's what baffled me. And to be honest, it confused me for a while. And I was this type of a person who believed family issues, you keep to yourself. Like me, in fact, right now, I'm sure many people will be shocked that I'm here.
I've spoken out for the first time.
I've spoken out for the first time. And even many people who are close to me never even used to know. I have a very close circle of people, of friends, who knew actually what I was going through. I would share with them, because I can't say, if I wasn't sharing, maybe I would be mental by now. So the few people I would share with, those are the ones I kept. So I kept my issues to myself. And I continued. So when I came to realize now, the issues were, people, he was not very honest. He would tell you one thing and tell another person another thing. He will tell you this, he's doing another thing. So I got a bit confused. So I said, this one, because they're siblings, I don't want to be in between them. I will remove myself, I will continue with my studies. Once I finish, if God helps me, I will work, and I will be able, to be able to do whatever I want and support myself. And that's what exactly I did. I graduated in 2013. Then after that, his plan was that I move to South Sudan with him and with the kids at that time. And unfortunately, between that time, that's when I started, I had issues of the children now came in. My third son, Ajang, got sick before his first birthday. He was just having this normal diarrhea for kids and vomiting. We treat. Then it just got out of hand. Then he was admitted in the hospital. Developed convulsions. And from there, he was admitted in the ICU. We stayed there until the thing was not stopping, until at some point they were doing a blood transfusion on him. And him, he was this chubby boy. My kids are, if you look at them, even the way his father posted them in Facebook, they're they're huge.
Naturally, they have bodies.
They have bodies, all of them. Even when they were small, they were just chubby. So the boy, it could even be hard for you even to tell that there was dehydration or something. But we were discharged after we were discharged in the hospital. He lost his eyesight by the time we were discharged. But they told us he will be okay. He will regain it back after some time. So we started on the treatment. By then he was put on supplements and a lot, to regain back his eyesight. So we went home. The boy was not seeing completely, and I really, it broke my heart. He was under my care at that time. I feel I feel somehow I let my child down. Maybe I could have done better. Maybe he wouldn't have been in that situation. But anyway, I found myself in that situation, so I decided I would deal with it. So we continued. Then now my second born, who's Dean, Ding was born on 9th of July 2011. Not the same day when we were having our flag raise.
Independence, the first our independence celebration.
When guys were on the streets, I was in labor.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ding was born on 9th of July 2011. So immediately, you know, his dad was very passionate about school, so he put them to school early. So we enrolled him to school, and you know, okay, that time he delayed a bit. You could see because he has autism, and this autism condition, it affects the way a child behaves and communication.
Okay,
you know?
what is autism like in a layman's language for others outside there?
Okay, autism. You know, I never knew about autism. I came to know what autism is when my son was diagnosed with autism. Autism, as they say, it's not a mental order.
Okay.
It's a developmental condition. So it can only be it can manifest itself in the way a child behaves.
Okay.
It's not like somebody's mental or anything, but the way he behaves, you can tell. Because these kids normally they like to stay alone. They play on their own, and they can't speak. Like mine, okay, there are different types, but mine up to this point, he doesn't speak. He has not. Okay, when he was younger, he would say "Papa, Mama," but he just disappeared like that. He's not speaking right now. So that's the condition we're there. So we were told when he went to school, the teachers could not handle him. So we were asked to see a specialist. The specialist came, they organized him, and he told us that the child is autistic. He needs, you know, they need to do an early intervention, which was done. We started, but it was very expensive. The therapies, the sessions, the supplements that you have to buy. We need to change the diet because sometimes you can be super hyper.
Okay.
When they're super hyper, since they don't talk, you know, they would, like he would walk up and down, pace, jump, watch, scream, you know, the whole time. So he was put on supplement, and we started our session. To be honest, that time, and it was very stressful, you know, having to deal with two children at the same time.
Who had some conditions that need some attention.
That is coming up suddenly. It was really, it really took toll, both psychologically and financially, on both of us.
Okay. Was that the time you start seeing a lot of changes in terms of how you and your husband, you know?
Yeah. At that time, issues really started. You know, we would fight like the way couples would fight, but at that time, there was a lot of tension. Because he came, he would clearly tell me, "You see, you destroyed my life. We've never had such cases in my family. This one must be from your family." You know, openly, people came out, especially his immediate family member, were like, "No, this is witchcraft. This one is coming. You know, if our son, you see, like them, the way their son brought them up, invested in them, they felt like he was wasted by marrying someone like me." So they started, you know, and that one got into him.
Okay.
He was a bit affected, and it really strained our relationship. But all in all, I decided, you know, I will be there for my kids. So I remember at that time, he clearly told me, you know, these kids, you'll never have them, and me, if this is the kind of children we are going to be giving birth to, trust me, I'm done. I don't think I want to continue.
So openly like that?
Yeah, so openly. Because immediately by then, my firstborn now, he was having eczema. There's these allergies, so it would, and then it's like he was having sinus at the same time. He would be having, he was asthmatic. Like this, my firstborn son was on inhalers. The second one was now on session of therapies. The third one was Yahoo. He was not seeing properly. Any things were really a mess. And every other child who was having kind of a condition. And it really took toll on us. But I decided to, you know, at that point, I just said, this is what God gave me. Let me just handle it. As long as, and at least that time he was supporting financially. So now after some time, the finances started to reduce. Oh, no, after that he took us because now, you know, with all this confusion, he said that we go to India. We went to India for further treatment. There was nothing much that they say. They just say that one is autism. We have to continue with the OT, that is occupational therapy, and the other one will be put on supplement. The one with the vision problem. The other boy, my firstborn, he will outgrow it.
Okay.
Time, because sometimes, you know, he could develop rashes on his body, the eyes, everything. You know, look at the child. Sometimes we just feel bad for him. So they said we just managed with the medication. Yeah. That's what we did. So we came back, and they said, you know, After they did a brain scan on on a young, the third child, they said, okay, because when we left Nairobi, they were saying that there was a there was the dehydration led to some damage in the brain or something like that. That's what affected his eyesight. But when they did their scan in India, they told us that they don't think that was the issue. The issue could be he was given a lot of medication, but with time it will come out of his system.
Okay.
So he started, by the way, gaining back his sight.
His eyesight.
Yeah, his eyesight. He could not see the small things, but he would move around because most of the time he couldn't move from patient. Yeah, so when he's in a place like this, he will know where to go and all the stuff. So we came back. After we came back from India, of course, we had to put them on supplement. We had to follow the advice of the doctors. So we did. We were following. Then he dropped us in Nairobi. Then he came back to Juba. I still stayed with them. At that time, we moved because we were in Lavington. Then we moved to Siokimo. That's where he got for us a house. So at that time, we were not paying rent. So we stayed. And then after some time, things started changing. The boy was not going for therapy. He said the therapies were very expensive, and that he had to stop. He has to stay home. And he said that these other boys, the supplements, sometimes you could go for some time, that they were not bought. And every time you would call, it would be a quarrel. And and then at point he would tell me statement like, why do you want me to waste so much money on kids that have no future? I can't. Right now I'm thinking about my life. I need. I can't get stuck in this. So with those, those are very hurtful statements. Yeah. And I would just keep quiet about them. By the way, this is the first time I'm going public about it. The other time I brought them up is when we were having a family meeting. So we continued. Now when the fight became so frequent, we are not talking now. He told me, instead of us fighting all the time, and you think that there's money in Juba, come and work. I'll find for you a job. So he went and talked to my father to allow my mom to go and stay with the kids in Nairobi.
As you come and look for.
Yeah, as I come and look for a job. But yes, my dad accepted because by that time, it became my issue. It kind of even brought issues between the families because there was a time a meeting was done and they went publicly, declaring that it is your issue. Even my dad was so annoyed, and I remember he even requested them that if that's the case, I'm going to take her with the kids. So from there they backed down because my dad is a nonsense man. Whatever he says he will do. It will take him time.
Yeah, then will do it.
Yeah. So when they realized that my dad was a bit harsh, they kept quiet. So I was told now just to come to work to Juba. So my mom went, remained with the kids. Then I came. I started working. I started with the bank. By then I was not on salary because I was still
on internship.
I was still on internship. So I started work. Mom went and stayed with the kids, and you see, immediately I came. Most of the things were stopped. Like therapy, I made sure I talked to a Kenyan lady, the shadow teacher that we had employed at that particular time. She was stopped from work, but I really begged her and told her just continue working. Whatever I'll get, I'll be paying you. We were paying her $30,000 a month. That is $300.
Yes.
So I would run up and down. I know sometimes the beautiful thing about South Sudan is that people are very kind.
Yeah.
So sometimes you will meet friends that you've never met for a while, and then they say, "Oh, you're here in Juba. Welcome. Take this one for water." So such money I would keep them when I would send them to this girl, and she would continue with the therapist now with my son. So I didn't want him to stop completely. So that one continued with his therapist. The other boy, Ajang, had to just be at home. The only child that was at school at that time was my first one. And if you be honest, me, I'm one person who appreciates. He never let go. At that time, that boy was in a school, and his school fees were going. But for these other kids, that's where the issues was. He would rather do his other responsibilities, but not these ones. I know me as a mother, it's pained me.
Yeah.
So I started now paying the therapy for this other child. We stayed. Then, unfortunately, in December, my dad passed on. That one now, my mom had to come, and she had now to come with the rest of the kids. We only left my first one, because by then there were people in the house, and there was a house, and so they could manage it. So we left that child there, and then we brought the small ones. We came, we went for the burial, we went for at Bain, the 40 days, and all that. Then we came back to Juba. At that time, to be honest, I didn't have much. I was struggling to pay even the therapist at that time. So my mom decided instead of me burdening myself with the kids in Juba, they can remain with her for a while. When things then she would bring them. So they remained. I came to Juba. We struggled. Then one time I went to Yerul to go and visit them. Then I found now the autistic child. Then he was really that bad. He has regressed completely.
Yeah.
I said this one now is too much. I came back. The whole I went by bus. By bus to. I went by road. When I was coming, I was crying the whole time. I was just telling, God, how could you just give me such a child and not able to finance me?
Yeah.
How will he? And like when you started the sessions of therapy and all of it, we were always told, if you work on this, you'll be okay. Yeah. So you're like, I can't be sitting, seeing my child. So I started asking my relatives. Well, by good luck, one of my uncles responded. He gave me, and in fact, at that time, they were still feeling sorry. And they had so much.
You just lost your father, and they're still feeling that sorriness.
And at that time, my problems with my in-laws were so open. They were very open, so they felt really sorry for me. So he went and gave me some money. So I went. I was very happy. I went and picked him back. I took him back for the therapy. I employed back the shadow teacher. They were able to attend all those sessions, and I was happy. For once, I felt I was relaxed.
Yeah.
So I came back. By good luck now, he helped me now get another job with an NGO. You see, by then it pays well.
Yeah.
So with that one, I was able to save for a few months. Then I asked my mom to bring Ajahn. So I took him to Khartoum for eye check. Yeah, because we were told there they have a
better facilities.
Yes. So I took them there for like 2 months. Then when they came back now, Deng asked me to put the kids all back together, to take them all to Nairobi instead of the two there and the two here. And Mama should go and stay with them. That was the agreement, which was a good thing. So we agreed that was the plan earlier, as we had agreed earlier.
Yeah.
It was interrupted only by my father's death. So I said, Mama, maybe she will go back to Yerul first, put her things in order. When she comes, then she'll go to Nairobi with the kids. And at that time, he told me I was the one to take that responsibility. So I was calculating the amount of money for the ticket, what they will eat at home. I realized it was a lot. So I decided to look for other means. So I got a car that was going to Nairobi. So I got my kids in, we went.
You went through using a cargo to Nairobi?
Yeah, to Nairobi. I didn't pay anything. I was only paying for the visa.
Yeah.
For the three of us, which was $300, $150. So which was easy. So I went, I took them to Nairobi, waiting for my mom, and I came back with the same cargo. So the only thing that I was left with was now my mom.
To go and stay with the kids.
Yeah.